Most people believe they understand money. They work hard, earn a decent income, and follow what seems like common sense. Yet decades pass, and the wealth they imagine never materializes. The bank account remains stagnant. Retirement feels like a distant dream. And the frustrating part is they cannot pinpoint exactly where things went wrong. Here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to hear. The real reason most people never build wealth has nothing to do with their salary, their education, or even the economy. It runs much deeper than that. It lives in the silent patterns of thinking and behaving that most people never examine. And once someone understands this hidden force, everything about their financial future can change. The invisible force sabotaging your wealth, financial success, is not a math problem. It is a behavior problem. Someone could hand two people the exact same salary, the same opportunities, and the same starting point. One builds substantial wealth over time. The other remains stuck in an endless cycle of earning and spending. The difference between them is not intelligence or luck. It is mindset. The beliefs people carry about money shape every decision they make. These beliefs form early in life, absorbed from parents, culture, and personal experiences. If someone grew up in a household where money created stress and anxiety, they likely carry that emotional weight into adulthood. If they witnessed their parents living paycheck to paycheck, that pattern feels normal, even inevitable. The mind accepts these patterns as truth, and the body follows. What makes this especially dangerous is that most people operate on autopilot. They make financial decisions based on feelings rather than strategy. Fear keeps them from investing. Instant gratification pulls them toward unnecessary purchases. Social pressure convinces them to spend money they do not have on things they do not need. And all of this happens beneath conscious awareness. This autopilot mode is why someone can earn more money year after year and still feel financially stuck. The income grows, but so do the expenses. The lifestyle expands to match every raise and bonus. Behavioral economists call this lifestyle inflation, and it silently destroys wealth, building potential. A person gets a promotion and immediately upgrades their car, their apartment, their wardrobe. They feel like they deserve it after working so hard. But what they actually deserve is financial freedom, and these choices push it further away. The psychological trap runs even deeper. Human brains are wired for short-term thinking. Immediate rewards trigger pleasure centers in ways that long-term benefits cannot compete with. Buying something new today feels exciting. Saving that same money for retirement 30 years from now feels like sacrifice. The brain struggles to value future outcomes when present temptations are so vivid and accessible. This is why people know they should save more but consistently choose not to. Knowledge alone does not change behavior. The emotional pull of the present moment overpowers rational planning every single time. Understanding this psychological reality is the first step toward breaking free from it. The wealth-destroying traps hiding in plain sight, beyond mindset issues. Specific behavioral patterns keep wealth permanently out of reach. These traps feel normal because everyone around seems to be caught in them too. The first and most devastating trap is spending without intention. Most people have no clear picture of where their money actually goes. They swipe cards, approve payments, and assume everything will work out. Months pass and the checking account drains to near zero before the next paycheck arrives. This pattern repeats endlessly. The problem is not necessarily the amount spent. It is the lack of awareness and strategy behind the spending. Someone might avoid obvious luxuries, but still hemorrhage money on subscriptions they forgot about, impulse purchases that seemed small, and convenience expenses that add up to staggering totals. Without tracking and intentional allocation, money simply evaporates. The second trap is living for today while ignoring tomorrow. Many people rationalize this by saying life is short and they want to enjoy it now. And they are right that balance matters. But enjoyment today should not come at the cost of security tomorrow. The data reveals a sobering reality. A significant portion of people would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing money. That level of financial fragility means one car repair, one medical bill, or one job loss away from crisis. And when crisis hits, high-interest debt becomes the only option, creating a downward spiral that can take years to escape. Building an emergency fund is not exciting or glamorous, but it is the foundation that everything else rests upon. Without it, wealth building is impossible because every setback wipes out any progress made. The third trap involves the fear of investing. Money sitting in a standard savings account loses value every year to inflation. Yet many people choose this path because investing feels risky and complicated. They worry about losing everything in a market crash. They do not understand how stocks and bonds work. So they do nothing, and doing nothing guarantees they will never build significant wealth. The math is undeniable. A person who invests $200 per month at a 7% average annual return would accumulate over $100,000 in 20 years. That same money sitting in a low-yield savings account would barely reach $50,000. The difference between action and inaction is $50,000 or more. The fear of potential loss prevents people from capturing very real gains. The fourth trap is the comparison game. Social media has amplified this problem to unprecedented levels. Everyone sees carefully curated snapshots of other people's lives. Friends posting vacation photos, new cars, designer purchases. It creates pressure to keep up, to prove that success is happening here too. But those images never show the credit card debt, the financial stress, or the empty retirement accounts hiding behind the Instagram filters. Chasing what others appear to have is a guaranteed path to financial ruin. Real wealth is invisible. It is the money not spent, the investments quietly growing, the options and flexibility accumulated over time. Someone driving a modest car while maxing out retirement accounts is wealthier than someone driving a luxury vehicle financed at high interest rates. But society rewards visible consumption and ignores invisible wealth. Breaking free from this comparison trap requires courage and clarity about what actually matters. The simple shift that changes everything. The good news is that building wealth does not require genius or luck. It requires a fundamental shift in perspective and a commitment to different behaviors. The shift begins with long-term thinking. Instead of asking what feels good right now, start asking what will create freedom later. Every financial decision becomes a choice between present comfort and future security. Not every choice needs to favor the future. Balance is important, but when the scale tips too far toward immediate gratification, wealth remains out of reach. Successful wealth builders train themselves to derive satisfaction from the process itself, not just the distant outcome. They find pleasure in watching savings grow, in making smart investment choices, in resisting impulses that would derail progress. The emotional reward shifts from consuming to building. The next piece involves creating clear systems. Wealth is not built through willpower or discipline alone. It is built through automatic systems that remove decision-making from the equation. Setting up automatic transfers from checking to savings on payday eliminates the temptation to spend that money first. Maxing out retirement account contributions before the money ever hits a bank account makes investing effortless. These systems work because they bypass the part of the brain that wants immediate rewards. The money disappears before impulses kick in. Over time, these automatic behaviors compound into substantial wealth. A person who saves 20% of every paycheck for 30 years will accumulate life-changing amounts of money, even on a moderate income. The key is consistency, not perfection. Another critical shift is investing in financial education. Most people spend years in school learning subjects they will never use again, but almost nobody learns how money actually works. They do not understand compound interest, tax-advantaged accounts, or basic investment principles. This knowledge gap costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. The solution is simple. Spend time learning. Read books about personal finance. Take courses on investing. Follow credible financial educators. The return on this educational investment far exceeds almost any other use of time. An hour spent learning about retirement accounts could translate to tens of thousands of dollars in savings decades later. Knowledge creates confidence. Confidence enables action, and action builds wealth. The final shift involves taking imperfect action. Many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect strategy, the perfect amount of knowledge. That moment never comes. Meanwhile, years of potential compound growth slip away. Starting small is infinitely better than not starting at all. Someone who begins investing just $50 per month in their 20s will accumulate significantly more wealth than someone who waits until their 40s to invest $500 per month. Time in the market beats timing the market. The sooner someone starts, the more powerful compound growth becomes. And the beautiful truth is that small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results. One good decision does not create wealth. Thousands of good decisions repeated over decades create wealth. The person willing to make those decisions, day after day, regardless of how small they seem, wins the long game. Building wealth is not a mystery reserved for the lucky few. It is a predictable outcome of specific behaviors sustained over time. The real reason most people fail is not complicated. They operate on autopilot, driven by unconscious beliefs and short-term impulses. They fall into traps that feel normal but destroy financial progress. And they wait for circumstances to change instead of changing their own behavior. The power to build wealth lives in the daily choices that seem insignificant in the moment but compound into everything over time. Understanding this truth is the first step. Acting on it consistently is how wealth gets built. The question is not whether someone can build wealth. The question is whether they are willing to think and behave differently than everyone around them. Because different thinking creates different results. And different results create the financial freedom that most people only dream about.